In a world where everything seems to move at lightning speed, where voices overlap and screens constantly flash with information, silence has become a rarity. Yet, it is within silence that the most profound teachings of life are found. To truly understand what the universe is trying to say, one must first understand the value of stillness. Many people associate silence with boredom, discomfort, or even fear. But silence is not a void, it is a vessel, a space where truth rises to the surface. Just like muddy water settles when left undisturbed, the mind too becomes clear when given a moment of peace. It is in this clarity that one begins to hear not the noise of the world, but the deeper voice of existence itself. This voice does not shout. It doesn't demand attention like the chaos of daily life. Instead, whispers, gently, patiently waiting for the moment you finally pause long enough to notice it. Running through the park, that whisper might come in the form of a feeling in your chest, a recurring thought you can't shake, or a subtle sensation that something isn't quite right or that something is perfectly aligned. But if you're constantly distracted, always moving, always talking, you'll miss these signs entirely. Silence becomes a gateway to self-awareness. It is where thoughts slow down and you begin to separate the noise of the world from the voice of your soul. In the quiet, you can ask deeper questions of the park. What am I really feeling? Why am I making this decision? What is this situation trying to teach me? And unlike the external world, which gives fast answers and based off an opinion or trend, the universe responds with depth. Its answers may not always be immediate, but they are always meaningful. Moreover, silence is a form of respect, not just for yourself, but for the wisdom life offers through the park. When you stop talking, you begin to hear what others are really saying. When you stop filling the space with constant input, the park, you begin to sense the subtler energies around you. Silence teaches patience. It teaches humility. It teaches presence. And in a world obsessed with being heard, choosing to listen, to truly deeply listen, is a revolutionary act. In this sacred space of quiet, healing also begins. Emotions surface that you may have buried. Truths emerge that you've long ignored. But with that can come liberation, running through the park. Because when you finally hear what your inner voice and the universe have been saying, you no longer need to chase validation or direction from the outside. You become centered, ground-lined. The invitation is simple, powerful. Embrace silence not as emptiness, but as the most found space for transformation. It is here, running through park, in the soft stillness of the present moment, that the universe speaks with the greatest clarity. And only those brave enough to listen in silence will ever truly hear. Life is not a series of random moments stitched together by chance. Every experience, whether welcomed or uninvited, carries with it a message. The universe communicates not just through beauty and joy, also through challenges, setbacks, and moments of fusion. Yet most people miss the message because they are focused on the surface event, not the deeper lesson beneath it. When something goes wrong, the common instinct is to blame, to resist, or to question why it happened. What if the situation didn't happen to punish you, but to teach you something that success could not? What if that delay was not a denial, but a divine detour guiding you towards something better? The truth is, every experience holds purpose. Run the park, a missed opportunity may be saving you from a path that isn't aligned with your growth. Through the park, a painful breakup may be clearing space for the kind of love you truly deserve. A failure may be rerouting you toward a higher version of your potential. These lessons are subtle and cannot be seen if you're only looking at life from a place of frustration or impatience. You must look at each experience as a conversation with the universe. Ask yourself, Park, what is life trying to teach me right now? That simple question shifts your perspective from being a victim of circumstance to being a student of life. Even the seemingly small moments are filled with meaning. A chance encounter, a recurring dream, a phrase that resonates with you deeply, all of these can be signs. Life often speaks in patterns and synchronicities. Have you ever noticed a certain number showing up repeatedly, or the same message appearing in books, conversations, or songs? Is not coincidence. That is alignment. That is the universe knocking gently on the door of your awareness, asking you to pay attention. The park. However, noticing the message is not enough. You must also be willing to receive it, even if it challenges your ego or comfort zone. Sometimes the truth revealed in an experience asks you to let go of something or someone. Sometimes it demands change, discipline, or introspection. But in every case, it asks for your growth. The universe does not waste pain. It does not send hardship without reason. But it also does not force transformation. It waits for your participation. When you begin to view life this way, every moment becomes sacred. There is no such thing as ordinary. Even in confusion, you begin to trust that clarity is being formed. Even in sorrow, running through the park, you recognize the roots of strength being planted. Every moment is either revealing the truth or preparing you to receive it, but only becomes clear when you stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What now?" The universe has never stopped speaking. It speaks through everything that happens, and the more aware you become, the more obvious it gets. Experience is not just something you go through. It's something that teaches you. But only if you're willing to listen. The universe does not communicate in the way most people expect. It doesn't write letters or send loud announcements. Instead, it speaks through intuition, an inner sense that bypasses logic and reasoning. Intuition is not guesswork or a lucky feeling. It is a deeper intelligence that operates beyond conscious thought, a direct line between your higher self and the rhythm of life. In a world that glorifies intellect and demands evidence, intuition is often dismissed or ignored. People are taught to trust data, facts, and external advice, while the soft, subtle voice within them is silenced. Yet, this internal guidance is the very language the universe uses to lead you. Intuition often appears as a sudden knowing, running through the park. You meet someone and immediately sense they are important, even if you don't know why. Running the park, you're offered an opportunity that looks perfect on paper. Something deep inside says, "No." Or you're inspired to make a change in your life that seems illogical to others but feels completely right to you. These are not coincidences. These are moments when the universe speaks directly through your inner compass. The more you tune in, clearer these messages become. One of the greatest challenges with intuition is that it doesn't explain itself. It gives you a direction, not a detailed map. That can be uncomfortable for people who want certainty, guarantees, or approval from others. But the truth is, intuition requires trust. Trust in the unseen, the unknown, and the unfolding path. Following intuition is not always the easiest choice, but it is often the wisest. It may lead you away from comfort, but it will never lead you away from your purpose. The key to strengthening your intuitive ability is to slow down and pay attention. Intuition doesn't shout over the noise. It whispers in stillness. When your mind is overwhelmed by distractions, your inner voice gets drowned out. Through practices like mindfulness, solitude, and reflection, that voice starts to return. It speaks in the quiet moments, the park, in the pauses between action, in the feelings that arise when you allow yourself to be fully present. Another way to recognize intuition is by observing how it feels. Unlike fear, which is heavy and anxious, intuition is calm and steady. It might warn you, but it doesn't create panic. It might push you, but it doesn't pressure. Intuition is rooted in clarity, not chaos. And while the mind debates, intuition simply knows. Listening to your intuition means valuing your inner world, as much as the external one. The path, it means being brave enough to follow a path that might not make sense to others but feels undeniably right to you. The universe doesn't always explain why it guides you in a certain direction, but in time, its wisdom becomes evident. When you honor your intuition, you're not just listening to yourself, you're listening to the very heartbeat of the universe guiding you home. There is a quiet force that exists in every moment, gently nudging you toward where you are meant to be. Often, this guidance doesn't come with a dramatic announcement or a flashing sign. Instead, it reveals itself through subtle patterns, meaningful coincidences, and inner feelings that ask you to pay closer attention. The universe is not silent, it is consistently sending signals to help you navigate your path. But to benefit from this guidance, you must first choose to become aware of it through the path. You must shift from passive living to conscious noticing. When you begin to look beneath the surface of daily life, you discover that you are never alone. Guidance has always been present, running through the path. Think about the moments when the right person appeared at the right time, or when a decision you were hesitant to make somehow led to unexpected blessings. Those were not accidents. Those were alignments. The universe speaks through timing. Delays, detours, and even disappointments often hold greater purpose than immediate success. What feels like rejection may be redirection. What appears to be confusion may be a space the universe is using to prepare you for clarity. To hear this message, you must stay open, observant, and receptive. Guidance is not limited to major life events. It exists in everyday interactions and experiences. A conversation with a stranger might hold the insight you needed. Running through the park. A book that lands in your hands by chance might answer a question you've been asking in silence. A dream, a song, lyric, running, repeated phrase. They all repeat can be channels through which life communicates with you. But here's the truth. The universe will not compete for your attention. If you're too busy, too distracted, or too skeptical, the message may pass you by. It doesn't stop speaking, but you may stop hearing. To stay connected to this guidance, you must cultivate presence. That means learning to be here, not lost in thought, not trapped in worry, but rooted in the now. When you are present, you begin to notice the subtleties around you. You feel the energy of people and places more clearly. You sense when something feels right or wrong without needing external validation. Presence sharpens your awareness, and awareness opens the door to divine direction. Many people believe that spiritual guidance must be mystical or complicated. The universe operates with simplicity. It speaks in ways your soul understands, not your mind. It invites you to feel more than analyze, to trust more than question. And when you begin to truly listen, you realize that every step you've taken, even the uncertain ones running the path, were part of a larger plan designed to bring you home to yourself. The guidance you seek is already here. You are not waiting for it. It is waiting for you to recognize it. When you tune in, the path unfolds, the signs become clear, the path, and the journey transforms from one of confusion to one of connection. All you have to do is pay attention. Letting go of control is one of the most difficult lessons to learn, especially in a world that teaches you to plan every detail, manage every outcome, and measure success by how much you can direct. Yet, the universe doesn't function on rigid control. It flows with balance, rhythm, and timing. The more you try to force things, the more resistance you create. And the more you surrender, the more space you make for life to unfold naturally. This doesn't mean giving up or becoming passive. It means learning the delicate art of trusting the process, even when you don't understand it. Control is often rooted in fear. The fear of the unknown, the fear of failure, or the fear of being disappointed. So we build plans and cling to certainty as a way to protect ourselves. But life is not something you can fully script. It is a living, breathing force with intelligence of its own. Sometimes what you want isn't what you need. Sometimes what seems like a setback is actually saving you. But you can only see this in hindsight unless you learn to trust ahead of time. Running through the park, surrendering to the universe doesn't mean you stop making effort. It means you let go of your attachment to how the outcome must look. You still show up, take action, and follow your inner voice. But you stop trying to control every variable. You allow room for mystery, for miracles, for unexpected blessings. Trust is the bridge between your action and the universe's response. Without it, your journey becomes tense, exhausting, and filled with anxiety. With it, you experience peace even in uncertainty. There will be moments when things don't go as planned. A door closes. A relationship ends. A dream slips away. In those moments, the mind often cries out for answers. But the universe rarely explains itself in the moment. Instead, asks you to trust that something better is forming behind the scenes. Control seeks clarity before it moves. Trust moves even without clarity, knowing that deeper wisdom is at play. Many of the most beautiful chapters of life begin only after letting go. Letting go of the need to be right. Letting go of the timeline you thought you had to follow. Letting go of people who no longer align with your growth. It's in that surrender that transformation happens. You make space for the new by releasing what no longer serves you. So much energy is wasted trying to control what was never yours to manage. Peace comes when you realize that your job is not to control the universe, but to align with it. Listen, respond, trust. When you do, life begins to move in ways that surprise you. The right opportunities find you. The right people show up, and the things you once chased start to arrive with ease. The universe knows what it's doing. Your task is not to steer everything. To trust the flow, stay open, and let life reveal its wisdom in perfect time. Nature is not just a backdrop to your life. It is a living mirror of the universe's wisdom. Every element, every rhythm, and every change in nature reflects something profound about your own journey. But to recognize this, you must first learn to observe with presence and humility. When you begin to look at the natural world not just as scenery, but as a teacher, a new level of awareness opens within you. The rising sun does not hurry, the tree does not rush to grow, and the seasons do not compete. They simply exist in alignment with their purpose. And in this quiet alignment, there is deep instruction for the human spirit. Look at the way the seasons transition. Spring brings renewal, summer brings growth, autumn brings release, and winter brings rest. Each season has its own necessity. And yet in life, we often resist these natural cycles. We want endless growth without pause. We avoid the seasons of stillness, grief, or letting go, thinking they are signs of failure or weakness. But nature shows us that everything has a time. Trees don't hold onto dead leaves. Rivers don't question their path. Birds don't worry about whether the wind will carry them. They move with trust, with rhythm, and with presence, running through the park. That is the language of the universe. There is also a powerful message in the patience of nature. A seed planted in the ground doesn't bloom overnight. It spends time beneath the surface, gathering strength, protected in darkness, running through the park, and only when the time is right does it break through the soil. So often you may feel like nothing is happening in your life. You may question your progress, your purpose, or your direction. But like the seed, you are being prepared in ways you cannot yet see. Growth is not always visible, but that does not mean it isn't happening. Nature teaches you to surrender to timing. The moon doesn't rush to become full, and the ocean doesn't fight the tide. And in the same way, you must learn to surrender your timeline. This doesn't mean abandoning goals, but it means understanding that your journey will unfold in its own way, and at its own speed. When you stop forcing and start observing, peace begins to replace anxiety, because you realize that life is not against you. It is with you, speaking through every detail of the natural world. When you are disconnected from nature, you often become disconnected from yourself. But when you return to it, even in simple ways like watching the sky, feeling the breeze, or walking barefoot on the earth, you begin to remember. You remember that you are part of something bigger, something intelligent, something sacred. Nature doesn't just exist outside of you, it exists within you. And the more you align with its rhythm, the more clearly you hear the voice of the universe. To understand the universe, look at nature. It holds every lesson about timing, growth, change, and trust. But to receive those lessons, you must first be willing to see, not just with your eyes, but with your spirit, the park. When you begin to truly listen to the universe, something powerful happens. You start to align. Alignment is not about achieving perfection or controlling every part of your life. It is about coming into harmony, who you are, the park, why you are here, and what life is asking of you in each moment. This alignment creates a deep sense of clarity, purpose, and flow. Your decisions feel right, not just logically, but emotionally and spiritually. You stop forcing things to happen and start allowing them to unfold. That's when your energy begins to shift and everything around you responds. Alignment starts with self-awareness. You must become conscious of your thoughts, your feelings through the park, and your choices. Are your actions supporting your truth, or are they driven by fear, pressure, or the expectations of others? The universe cannot move fully through you if you are living someone else's version of life. You must return to your own voice, your own rhythm. And when you do, you begin to notice that life becomes more responsive. Opportunities feel more aligned. Relationships feel more meaningful. Path, even if uncertain, feels more guided. This does not mean everything becomes easy. Challenges will still arise. But when you are aligned, those challenges no longer feel like punishments. They feel like lessons, like invitations to grow deeper and stretch further. You meet difficulties with resilience because you know they are shaping you, not breaking you. And you no longer waste energy on paths that are not meant for you. Instead, you listen. The park. You adjust. You follow the pull of intuition, and life begins to feel more like a collaboration with the universe rather than a battle against it. Another sign of alignment is peace. Not the peace that comes from everything going perfectly through the park, but the peace that comes from trusting your place in the process. It's an inner knowing that even when things are unclear, you are still on the right path. That peace radiates from within and influences how you speak, how you walk, and how you show up in the world. Running the power, you people feel it, and that frequency begins to attract what matches it. Better conversations, clearer decisions, and more supportive environments. The more you listen, the more in tune you become. Running through the park, it becomes easier to recognize what drains you and what fuels you. You stop chasing things that don't serve you. You stop settling for what doesn't align with your growth. You become selective with your time, your energy, and your presence. Not because you're cold or distant, but because you've become aware of what deserves your attention. That is the power of alignment. It simplifies, strengthens, and sharpens your focus. Ultimately, alignment is the result of deep listening. Listening to your heart, to your intuition, and to the subtle wisdom the universe constantly offers. And when you live in that space, you no longer just survive. You begin to thrive, not by force, but by flow. That is when the universe responds, not just with signs, with blessings.